99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Good morning to you, Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome to Dailies today, the second part here on Nigeria Info. I am Sheriff Quadry.
And I'm Jimi Disu. Good morning. Today is a happy birthday to General T.Y. Danjuma.
Oh.
Yes, General Danjuma. I call him the General of Generals because they are generals and they are generals. And if you grew up at the time I grew up when he was in the army way back then, we call him the General of Generals. So happy birthday, sir.
All right. Happy birthday, sir.
No, you don't want to serve your country. Eh?
Did you join the army?
I almost did. But you didn't. Actually, I wanted to join the Air Force. Yes.
It never crossed my mind. Even though I had uncles that joined the army at the time, it never crossed my mind.
Tell you,
I only admire them from the distance.
If I tell you, I grew up in military government.
Yeah.
So I'd always had this admiration. My primary school was in the military compound. And so it was the Air Force uniform. I knew that I wasn't going to be a combatant anyway.
Yeah.
With my glasses, I started wearing glasses from the age of 8, so I knew all that was. But to work in the, so I opted for the Air Force.
Air Force.
But quickly withdrew my interest. It's a story for another day.
You're piling this thing up. Yeah. Now that we're talking about the army, let's seize the opportunity to appreciate all our men, brave men, different theaters right now who are putting their life on the line, and their loved ones as well for being strong.
And also to apologize to the ex-servicemen that their country has been cruel to them.
Yes.
Their country has been very, very cruel to them. But we'd like to thank the president for intervening. And he has instructed that all ex-servicemen should be paid. And I hope that happens before Christmas. We thank him for that because it's a problem he met on ground. And we're glad that, he intervened and quickly said that we shouldn't be treating them like that. We shouldn't. But here we are.
Yes, indeed.
Here we are.
Let's begin. You can watch the show on Facebook and on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can watch this show on Facebook and on YouTube. Let's start with the Vanguard newspaper, page 6. Alleged cybercrime. Court grants 50 million naira bail to Jimi, confiscates passport.
Okay, so this is an account of what happened, and I'm sure you're very familiar with. Jimi was finally granted bail. A generous bail, if you ask me, which I'm sure by now all the conditions would have been met. But there were a few developments I'd like to comment on. The first is that the 2 or 3 papers I've read this morning did not say that Jimi was brought in handcuffs, even though I saw a photograph of him in handcuffs, which incidentally is also on the front page of, I think, this paper, either Vanguard or Punch. And I think it's very unfortunate. I think the president needs to, if he doesn't know about this, he needs to quickly investigate. I hope people are not trying to embarrass this president and set him up. Because you see, apart from the case between himself and Chief Afe Babalola, he's also taken another dimension entirely and almost become a class war. There's international coverage. The ops you don't want to see is somebody in handcuffs. Jimi would be happy. It adds to his status as a fighter. That's the kind of thing. And if it was done supposedly to embarrass him, whoever designed that got it wrong. But I'm beginning to think that could there be sabotage even within the government to embarrass the gentleman, because common sense tells you that is not the man you want to. It is true you can handcuff anybody, but there's certain respect. He's a lawyer, for God's sake. And it's not a criminal trial as such. It's not murder or anything. It's defamation. Where is he going to run to? And therefore, I would advise the president, if he didn't know about this, to please find out whoever designed this must be given at least a good ticking off, because the optics are just not good. Also, there was a group that came up yesterday. Because, so some people said that, they want to demonstrate for Jimi in Ado Ekiti and so on and so forth. So there is this group that came up, led by Chief Michael Osaloni, and they came up in defense of Chief Afe Babalola.
Okay.
In the first instance, Chief Afe Babalola doesn't need a group to defend him. This is the wrong tactics. And I found an elderly man also threatening. By implication, he was also threatening violence. And I've said to myself that if they come, they would see, they would do this and they would do that. So I said to myself, is this man going to appear? Is he going to meet them with a cutlass, with a dingon, or what? The statement expected from anybody who is supporting Chief Afe Babalola is that he will have his day in court. If people want to come and demonstrate, they should be free to do so. You can plead with them. But to start threatening, you are throwing more, you're spoiling Chief Afe Babalola's case by the day, by this kind of action and this so-called group. And I doubt very much if Chief Afe Babalola is behind this group. It would be very unlike him, because they were almost like pleading violence.
I agree with you.
Very unlike him. It will spoil his case. I would advise the group to go about their normal duty. This thing has become a class war beyond the two issues that you have. And what I expected of that elderly man on TV yesterday is to say, look, Chief Afe Babalola will have his day in court. And I think it should have ended there. I'd like to plead to all parties, so let's keep the tempo down. I think by this morning, Farotimi will meet his bail conditions, and the rest is left to the courts to decide in the interim. So a lot of threats are made here, but I'm not going to be reading that out. I just plead maturity. And Chief Babalola should please tell those who are supporting him, at least on his own side, to show a lot of maturity and restraint. He should never be involved in anything that connotes violence or whatever, or picketing and things like that. He has confidence in the courts, I'm sure. That's why he went there in the first instance.
Yes, indeed. Let's go to this story here in the Punch newspaper, page 2 of the Punch says, no vacancy comments. ACF Atiku others lampoon presidency over 2027 poll.
They don't start again. 2027 in view. They don't start again. All I would say is I would plead with Nigerians to ignore these people. There are all kinds of permutations that are here. Should it be from the north? Should it be from the south? All I will do is tell my people, if you are wise, ignore these people. Do a self-assessment by yourself and with your own groups with the same interests outside of politics, to say that either to be happy that you are in the condition that you are in, or to make up your mind that you want to have change, and you go about a methodical way to make sure that things change. End of story. Don't get involved in all these shenanigans. The Bayo Onanuga said this, Atiku said that. All these things. I will tell you something for free. I have a funny feeling that a lot of us are dice in the Ludo game. Okay, or what I would just call, maybe for a better description, snakes and ladders. And so we need to put it in local language. You need to shine your eye. Do not get dissuaded by all these things. Whether, as far as I'm concerned, Nigeria needs a leader, whether he's a northerner or a southerner. And let me say quietly, don't quote me, even if he's a foreigner. We need a leader. We need a leader. And as far as I'm concerned, the two major political parties we have are parastatals of the other. And that's why it's easy for you to see people keep shifting and shifting and shifting. So I plead with you, get your mind very, very clear. At least do your own part. Don't let anybody influence you. That includes even me, anybody. And ask yourself only one question. Are you happy with the way you are, or do you want change? If you want change, how can you, who would you support, whether he's from the north or the east? All those things you hear about constitution, all these things are political matters. What should concern you now, everybody listening there, what should concern you now is how to eat the next meal, which might not come. I've told you, we are not prophets here. We are here to tell you the reality. So there's a whole lot of stories here going about article and saying there's vacancy. Arewa Forum have said this. Arewa Forum. Most of these groups would do you in. They fight for their own interests. All it takes in these groups is for one of them to be given an oil block or whatever, and off they go. I've seen it happen before. We've all seen it. If I didn't see any at all, I would still remember what happened in the days of Abacha, in the Abiola crisis. It was a very big lesson for me. Extremely big. That's why you'd never find me involved in any group for this or group for that. I think of my interest and that of my country. Because you don't even know. That's the funny thing. You don't know what game is going on. Look at Buala now. Look at the vicious way he went after the president. When victory came now, he is easily accommodated. And I take Basa, what's his name again? That one would have learned his lesson.
Yeah.
Yes. You don't seem to remember the man's name.
I've never. I don't know what he did to me. I don't know what he did to me. Let's go to the Metro page of the Punch.
Yes, very quickly, we're going to rush through it. Lagos teacher bags life jail for a Lagos teacher defiles an 8-year-old. What's the man's name? His name is John Osifo, and he's been sentenced to jail for life. Police arrest man for beating wife. A Lagos-based man identified as Sunday has been taken into custody for beating his wife Abibat Bakari to death. Jesus Christ. Suspected land grabbers killed Togolis in Ogun. 41-year-old man killed. 35-room building burnt in Quadry fire. And so it's all crime. Protesters stormed Lagos governor's office over planned monarch imposition. I think the elders across our country generally should sit down and think about how to resolve these crises about succession in royalty. Definitely it's been abused. Definitely it's been infiltrated. Definitely it's been monetized. And therefore you keep having and also it has been politicized. It doesn't do well for us. Let's go back to our traditions. Before there was, once the Ifa priest says this is the person, that is it. So I'd like the governor to stay out of it. Let the process, the traditional process flow. And once the man is not of any criminal background or whatever, then install him. But I think that somewhere along the line, these politicians like to handpick who will be the traditional ruler. So when it's time for elections, they can start playing all these games with Oro and all these things. But the people are worse off for it. I can tell you that. Sanwo-Olu opens the Fakor Road Bridge. Yes, there's the issue of commissioning. I spoke to a high-level government official. I think it was yesterday that I spoke to him. And I said that, look, why must we commission what is the meaning of commission? You build a road. Once the road is set to go, you open it. And this building commission, look at the photographs, everybody is there, traditional ruler, this one, and you waste so much money, resources, and time. That is something. He told me, he said, Oga, you not be politician, that they have to do these things, quote and unquote, to carry people along. But it is at a great cost. I am not even sure that the Eco Bridge was commissioned when it was opened in 1971, I remember. I can't remember that there was any commissioning. Or the Ibadan-Lagos Express Road. If the road is open. These are the things. You see, when we talk about having national conference, we need to take care of some of these habits. These little habits, these little irritations have turned out to be a big problem. So the governor was there yesterday. He went to commission road. He's going to commission another one. He invite one VIP. Obasanjo went to commission something in Ochun. We need to stop these habits. But the gentleman told me that Lagos State is also toying with the idea of virtual commissioning, whatever that is, without having to assemble people. But I'll just say that, look, just build it. You can then get your news crew to go around the facility and report it in the news. But when I'm talking about commissioning sheriff, what about flag off? That is Wike's specialty. You want to flag on. Lagos has ordered removal of illegal street gates. That's a dicey one. But I'm sure they'll find a way around it. So that's about what we have in the news.
They did that. The state government did that. I think it was last December or the December before the last one. You know, when we had this horrible, very devilish traffic on this axis, and that thing has returned because on Sunday it was a nightmare. On Saturday it was a nightmare as well, because people come home during this period.
Yes.
So, and Lekki Phase 1, almost every street they have their own gates and everything.
Yes.
Road that is not yours, road that is not for your estate, is for the government, but you just lock it up. So instead of people to be able to maneuver into inner streets, then come out at this thing, everybody now was constrained to pass through that same one road. So Lagos government took it upon themselves that year. I can't remember, it was last year, I can't remember. And they started opening up all the gates.
Well, but there's also a balance between that and security. In a country where you provide your own water, electricity, this and that, you provide your own security. So it's a bit of a, but it's difficult to say people shouldn't build gates because really and truly there's a lot more security. So
yes, I agree.
It's a bit of a balance. I think I would rather go along the line that happened, I think, during Fashola's tenure, which said that all gates, if you're going to have a gate, it should be manned. It should be manned. So. You can still find a way, you can put a bar or whatever, because look, to be honest with you, Sheriff, there's no security in this country. No security at all. We always go after the crime. How many times have you read that a robbery attack was foiled before it ever took place? You understand? So for people to sleep easy at night, because where I live in a gated place, so we have, where I live, we have almost 1, 2, 3, 4. We have about 5 gates. apart from the 5 gates, the street beside my house has an iron bar across it. It's because it's for security. And then look at the plight of a black man. I was laughing at this. I was telling somebody, you employ somebody to man your gates at night, now so that you can sleep peacefully. But you now insist that this guard must knock the gong every hour. How are you supposed to sleep peacefully? Deep thinking.
You want to be sure that he himself is not sleeping.
But you too, okay. You too, you won't sleep. But we all have this dilemma. We don't know what to do about security.
Yeah.
So it's a mixed bag.
I agree. Something needs to give, yeah? Okay. Let's go to page 14, Health-Wise Plus page.
Yes, Health-Wise page. Reintroduce COVID-19 protocols to prevent XCC spread. That is going to spoil the Christmas for everybody. A specialist has said that that apparently the COVID-19 is on the rise, and you have to reintroduce the protocols.
Yeah, a variant of the SARS-CoV, yeah.
Is that what?
A variant of
it, yes.
SARS-CoV.
Nigerian researchers develop vaccine cooling device, whatever that means. What other story is there? Firm unveils tech-powered DNA testing. This DNA testing now is the facilities are so rampant and it's a very good business. It would be good to check the numbers and the success rates, how many pass and how many fail. Then the endocrinologists are worried about diabetes surge in Ogun. I think they should be worried about diabetes surge in Nigeria.
In Nigeria?
Because our eating habits are bad, including my own. Eating habits are bad. I was tempted to want to make a buy yesterday at 11 o'clock. I was very hungry.
11 o'clock at night?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was very tempted. And I won't tell you the substitute I took. But the hunger, I'm very dead. And I had this very nice ogbono soup, so I was very
Well, that happens. That happens.
Yes.
That happens. But I do think that apart from that, people should make it like a part of their responsibility to always go and know their numbers.
Oh yes,
Very important.
I tell the young people, once you're about 30, and luckily you have many offers now. In the social media, hospitals do all-round checks and things at very relatively average price, and you can go to the general hospitals. They are not that bad, though, to be honest with you. They are not top notch, they're not anywhere near, but all these lassos, and if you find your way around them, you can get these little things done. Don't toy with your health. You spend so much money on your Ferrari and your cars and whatever, and spend very little on this thing. Before anybody else, yes, I've also been guilty of that, but now I know. The older you get, the more care you take.
Please, it's not really that expensive. In case you're scared of the money, but it's just important.
People are scared of the results.
The results, right?
But it's wrong thinking, because if something is lurking in the dark, like my doctor will say, Dr. Ojo in the UK will say, let us see if there's something sinister behind this thing. When he says it and I look at it, my heart skips a beat.
I remember during my last checkup this year. And the doctor could see, the endocrinologist could see that, I am such a refugee. So he was now coming me down. He was now coming me down with gist and everything. By the time it was done, he was saying, I know that you'll be scared. But this is your result. I was like, thank God.
I've done the cancer. I got the cancer. I got the cancer scared twice.
Yeah, mine was once.
The first one, I almost weed on my body when I was waiting for the
Yes, it can be scary, but don't look at that. You just have to go in and know stuff about your health. Very important. Now let's go to page 19 of the Trust newspaper. Nigeria out of list of IATA report. $1.7 billion blocked funds.
Well. This is a finance thing, not an aviation thing. But I'm sure it will make Festus Keyamo to give him some relief. And it's to the credit of the government. This is a problem they also met on ground. They've taken us out of the list of blocked, out of the list of countries with a significant amount of airlines blocked funds. And I think we need to congratulate them for that.
That's really good.
The CBN seems to, because it really is somewhere within them and the finance, whatever. And it says that the association reported that $1.7 million in blocked funds are blocked from, in airline funds are blocked from repatriation by governments. However, it stated that this is a small improvement compared to the 1.8 billion, but Nigeria is out of that list. So what it means in the first instance is that we should have lower price tickets on the international, and I'm going to bring somebody in to explain to us in detail what it means. But it also is a big stain of our country, that we are not one of those who have blocked funds and therefore cannot enjoy the full whatever. So congratulations to the country, congratulations to the CBN and Ministry of Finance, congratulations to the President. It's an achievement he can claim. And congratulations to my good aburo, Festus Keyamo, who I'm sure in the next 1 week you're not going to hear anything. You're not going to hear any other thing but that. So it's good news.
Yes, it is. I'm happy to hear that.
I'm happy to. It's important that people understand that nobody is unhappy to see government work. And I say this because of those who criticize and say Jimi Disu doesn't see anything good in. No, you just want your country to work because, look, if the president succeeds, whether I like his face or not, I succeed. It's as simple as now with this development now, I expect airline fares to crash by about 25%, and Nigerians to have access to more flexibility. So if you can get successes in bits and pieces, the rate is going down now. I'm not sure how long that will last. I hope that there is no cartel behind all this, because it has happened before. History always reminds you. It happens like this. Some people get the funds at cheap prices, at cheap rates, store it. And then by January, February, you suddenly have an upsurge and they clear out the market. So, but if this is sustainable, then it looks as if there might be a tiny window that is open for us to let out air.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We must go now. We have to go.
We must go.
Yes, we must go.
Okay.
We really have to go. What's coming up at 9?
We want to talk about traffic. You know, yesterday we spoke about. No, last week we spoke about, for example, darkness on
the
roads
yes.
and so on and so forth. So the FRSC, madam, is coming back to advise us on how, generally to keep ourselves alive this Christmas.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. Lagos, thank you for being a part of the show today. We appreciate your time. But we're not done yet. Kofi Battels would make a return on the morning crossfire with the remaining hour left of the show. At 9 o'clock, Jimi Disu will be here for Daily Digest.
And congrats to Kofi.
Yes, congratulations to him.
Kofi. Ghana has set a fantastic example.
Yeah.
But we set the example first. Jonathan,
yes, we did that. All right, good morning to you, Lagos. Yeah.
As the years they go, we dey work for dough.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe.